you will see why as the talk progresses. What I'm going to do is not talk about patents per se, but give you a highlight of Cook's core of the nanotechnology report, which is meant to be a sort of high-level view of patenting activity, IP activity. We have a number of the biotech ones, annual, also the ones which in China recently. We're very pleased to have a forward by Celia Saxel, who is the CEO of the Institute of Nanotechnology. It's an interesting area because there's quite a lot of important work coming out of academia and a lot of platform technology as well, which means the patents tend to be important. What is it? Essentially, it's a search and analysis exercise based upon publicly available databases, and we try to bring out the business context and significance of the results. Now, it's actually quite difficult for nanotech because the definition of nanotechs changed over time, and there's also a lot of noise in databases. If you just search for nano, you'll find all sorts of patents out there which aren't really nanotech related at all. So there's actually a lot of manual input and searching that into the exercise to get meaningful data out of it. We chose three areas of interest: nanoelectronics, the health and personal care sectors, and nanoenergy. These were selected based upon the PC Nano Roadmap, which is being used as direct investment over the next 10 years. In fact, nanoelectronics was narrowed down from the field of nanomaterials. Nanomaterials just turned out to be too wide for the number of years. So I think it'll be interesting to see how this plays out down the line. So, first of all, nanoelectronics. What is it? Well, it encompasses quite a wide range of activities. We've heard about some of them just recently. So we've got blue sky research, we've got a number of really quite close to market applications, like panel displays, semiconductor manufacture, data storage, memory, that sort of thing. And then we've got slightly longer term nanostructural systems, devices, actuators, connector motors, all sorts of very interesting things at a small scale. And as you've seen, one characteristic curve today from plastic logic, I thought would hold up. This is an example of a single molecule diode, and it's an example of some of the blue sky work that's going on. So, this first question we looked at was where are patents being generated? Where is the work taking place, the R&D work? And we use the priority country as a guide to this, because generally speaking, an R&D department will file in their home country. It's not entirely true. There are one or two companies which will file first in the United States, wherever the work's done, but it's not a significant enough effect just to the data. So what you see there is that looking at the left-hand side, by far the bulk of the work is being carried out in the States, which is perhaps not surprising. And there's also quite a lot of granted patents coming through as well, which is useful for software companies. There's a lot of filing in Japan, no grants when this was put together. That's basically because the Japanese examination process is very long. So I don't think there's anything particularly to read into that. On the other hand, not a lot in Korea seems to have issued yet, and they don't have such a long examination process. So maybe that's just about the quality of the applications there. But the main message is that the US dominates. These figures are from the European Commission. You've probably seen lots of different figures along these general lines. You can see that, broadly speaking, the US, Japan, and Europe are all spending around the same total on nanotech. But the US and Japan are filing vastly more patent applications than Europe. And it's interesting to speculate why that might be the case. there's a lot less private spending in Europe, and that was one reason. There could be other reasons as well. Maybe it's not so good at fixing our investments, or maybe the investments are wrong in the first place. That seems that Europe isn't in fact keeping up. This shows where patents are being filed. So it's not where patents are being generated, but work having been done, where people try and protect inventions. And not unexpectedly, the US, Japan, Europe, the PCT column there is the International Patent Application Procedure. You can see there are a few in Korea as well, which really reflects the effect of Samsung, which is quite a significant effect. There are two being filed as well in China and Australia. Whether it's significant, I don't know, but none of the biggest Japanese files appear to be filing there. This is still on Now Electronics, and it shows the top 30 applicants. So at the top you've got Fujitsu and Samsung, which are obviously major players. You don't have many European players there. Infineon and Philips are the only two which appear. Interestingly, you've got a couple of startups from the States appearing in the top 30, which is quite significant, but it reflects quite significant investment on their part. If you look at that list, then around about half the companies there in the Far East, maybe a quarter from the States, and less than a tenth from Europe. So a half quarter Japan and the States probably reflects the fact that the US is much more fragmented, whereas Japan, Thailand tend to come from large companies. But again, the message is that Europe is significantly behind. This graph effectively shows rate of change. So what we can see there is that Samsung and Hewlett Packard have been increasing the rate of finance significantly recently. Moving on to the health and personal care sectors, this just shows the general level of innovation activity. Like many graphs that you've probably seen of this type, it's roughly exponential, although it does appear to be tapering off a bit at the top end, and you can actually see that in other sectors as well, so it may be a really big one. Perhaps the land grab is slightly tapering out. Again, where a patent's being generated, where they're being granted, unsurprisingly, again, the US is dominating, although China is right up there. Now, if you actually look at the raw data, there are quite a lot of Chinese applications which are sort of reformulations of drugs at the nanoscale, essentially things ground up small. And you can see that not many are actually granted. And perhaps that, again, is an indication of quality. The Chinese examination process is actually relatively strict. Something else you can see on here is a significant number of applications from France, particularly given its size. And that's really the effect of L'Oreal. And if you look at the top 30 applicants here, again, you can see L'Oreal right at the top. Those numbers, by the way, again, are patent families. And a lot of that relates to manufacturing technology, delivering things to the skin deeper, vitamin A, retinol, that sort of thing. And indicates as well that there's an overlap perhaps between cosmetics and pharmaceuticals here, because the same sort of technology is used for delivering drugs as well. So the top two, Ilan and Ford, actually something very similar, manufacturers of pharmaceuticals. Boston Scientific, their medical devices, and Philips, lower down diagnostics. Something else you can see here is China and India, higher up the list than before, which is interesting. In this list, the applicants are fairly evenly split between the US, Japan, and Europe. This is just an indication of the sort of information you can get out of these databases. If you like, these are citation indexes. and you would expect companies or applicants with large numbers of backward citations to hold important patents or patent applications. So it's indicating perhaps in those players. And a lot of those particular publications, again, relate to delivery in diagnostics. Nanoenergy is the third sector that we considered. And again, lots of examples. One thing we left off for this was fuel additives. Because to some extent we've got to take a reasonable view to get sensible results out of the analysis. The inset there is from Nature roughly a month ago. And it's in fact a startup from MIT, and the paper on which the startup was based was published in Nature Materials in 2002. Apparently they've got about $100 million worth of orders in hand as of November 2006. So that's an example of spectacular success from startup in this sector based on academic research. Apparently the technology is based on phosphate nanocrystals, the battery cathodes, and the drills, for example, that we make are better than all the drills. So, like a microscope. This is the same sort of information presented in a slightly different way. Again, it's prioritised by country. It just shows the map of the top players in the nanoenergy sector. Again, the US and Japan are ahead. In fact, Far East generally is further ahead than you would expect. Japan particularly, and that maybe is a reflection of not having significant oil reserves. Europe behind, which is a general trend across all three technology areas. Moving on to major applicants, Sony and Samsung are at the top there. The applications like Sony generally relate to fuel cells. There's a lot of investment going on there in fuel cell technology. And again, the same general picture, big Japanese multinationals supplying lots of patents. Often they are joint applicants. In the US, it's much more fragmented. What we don't see on there are any what we might call conventional fossil fuel companies. And we don't see battery companies either, although a lot of the developments and the patent applications that are being filed relate to battery technology. So maybe that's the sign of things shifting the power of different companies in this sector. And again, this is just showing current trends, and Sony is pressing away there. So, in summary, Europe seems to be behind, at least in nanoelectronics and nanoenergy. Japan, the R&D tends to be taking place in big industry, in government research labs. In the US, it's more broadly focused, in particular on universities and startups. And just to finish, it's interesting to see a few examples. These are all granted patents. This is one from MIT, European patent. Method of producing fullerenes. Quite a broad claim. They're all broad claims because I put it on the slide. I'm so short. Here's another one, which is actually producing nanostructures by breaking nanotubes. You've probably perhaps heard about the Hewlett-Packard crossbar latch, and this is there. It's actually a patent application at this stage for that crossbar latch. It's quite interesting bit of technology. How do I know that something like a patent? We'll on this, but how do you solve the problem? See that the commercial value is not just a focus. It's probably a good point to stop.
Questions for clarification, please, rather than debating points. showed the curves of the number of patents going up exponentially. How much do you think this is real growth, and how much is rebranding what was previously filed as materials technology or chemistry? And is it a real growth exponentially, or is it a change in terminology?
Well, we did quite a lot of work to actually filter out what you might call real nanotechnology from other sorts of technology that would be rebranded. So the rebranding exercise doesn't happen so much in patent applications where you're looking at quite a detailed technical description of what the thing actually is. So, for example, in the field of nanoelectronics, there's a bit of a judgment call there because there's a lot of material out there where you've got layers, fairly thin layers, which would fall within the definition of nanotechnology and boxes that are less than 100 nanometers or 10 nanometers thick. And we actually filtered a lot of those out because we couldn't see a good functional effect out of in there. Now sometimes it's difficult to actually know where you're filtering intensity or not, but that probably is a reasonable representation of actual nanotechnology rather than